Could eating poultry raise your risk of UTIs? The poultry products you buy at the grocery store may be a source of bacteria that cause urinary tract infections, UTIs, in people, a new study suggests. In the study, researchers analyzed samples of meat from grocery stores in California, as well as urine samples from patients with UTIs. The scientists were looking for the presence of Escherichia coli, E. coli, bacteria. There are many strains of E. coli, and most are harmless to people, but some cause disease, including UTIs. Out of the 6 strains of E. coli known to cause the majority of UTIs around the world, the researchers detected 3 strains in the meat samples tested, the majority of which were poultry products. The findings suggest that there might be a foodborne source of urinary tract infection, said study co-author Dr. Cindy Friedman, of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Division of Foodborne, Waterborne and Environmental Diseases. However, the study does not show for certain that bacteria in meat products cause UTIs, and so more research is needed to examine the link further, the researchers said. Top 7 Germs in Food That Make You Sick. The study was recently presented at ID Week 2017, an infectious disease conference in San Diego. E. coli bacteria cause about 80% of UTIs in people, but exactly where the harmful bacteria come from is not clear, said study co-author Dr. Raina Yamaji, a postdoctoral research fellow at the University of California, Berkeley School of Public Health, who presented the work at the conference on Friday, October 6. Some earlier studies have suggested that the bacteria could come from food, from poultry products, in particular. To examine this connection further, Yamaji and colleagues collected urine samples from more than 1,000 patients with UTIs at a university-affiliated healthcare center in 2016 and 2017. The scientists also sampled 200 meat products collected from local grocery stores near the university. The researchers analyzed bacterial DNA from both the meat and urine samples, looking for certain genetic fingerprints to determine which strains of E. coli were found in patients and in meat products. Results showed that, overall, 38% of the meat samples were contaminated with E. coli. Of the different types of meat, ground turkey was the most commonly contaminated, with 73% of ground turkey products testing positive for E. coli. In addition, 43% of chicken breast samples, 18% of ground beef samples and 15% of pork chop samples contained E. coli. Overall, nearly 1/4 of the poultry products contained E. coli bacteria strains that were also found in the patient's urine samples. As for how E. coli in meat could cause UTIs, the researchers hypothesized that this could happen when people don't properly cook raw meat, or don't properly handle the raw meat and thus contaminate parts of their kitchen or other foods with E. coli. Once ingested, the E. coli could live harmlessly in a person's intestine, if the bacteria is a type that does not cause foodborne illness. But if the E. coli passes out of the body in a person's stool, and some of that fecal material containing the bacteria then enters a person's urethra, it could cause a UTI, the researchers said. Still, the study cannot prove a cause and effect relationship between the E. coli and the poultry products and people's UTIs. For one thing, the researchers did not ask participants about their dietary habits, so the scientists can't trace the path of the bacteria from food to patients, Friedman said. In addition, the researchers analyzed only part of the E. coli genome. Sequencing the full genome would provide more information about how closely the E. coli in poultry and the patients is related, the researchers said. The study has not yet been published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal.